What's up everybody, my name's Josh from Nut Club, back again with another video about overtraining. And before we get into that, if you guys like the content on the channel, make sure you guys subscribe for the newest uploads that we'll be posting very soon. But without further ado, let's get into overtraining. All right, before we talk about overtraining, I want to just point out the elephant in the room that overtraining is kind of a widely debated topic because overtraining really is just a balance of stresses, and a lot of stresses can come from outside the weight room that can affect the weight room. So really overtraining is just making sure that everything is in balance. You're not putting too much stress on yourself. And if you have too much stress on yourself going into the weight room, it's going to have a big effect on your training. So really today we're going to be talking about how the weight room stresses can affect your body. Just make sure you understand that. Make sure you have a solid work-life balance with your training in order to prevent overtraining that's outside the weight room, because that can definitely happen to you. Just like everything health related, there are stages to overtraining. The first stage is called overreaching, and the second stage is actually overtraining. So first, let's talk about overreaching. So overreaching is really the first step in overtraining. What overreaching is basically your body telling you that it is under too much stress and it needs to rest. And a lot of athletes think that overreaching is kind of like, oh, I'm just sore and I just need to work out of it. Well, if you don't understand that your body needs to rest, you can't tell when your body is giving those signals, it can really negatively affect your performance and your progress. So you really need to understand how your body is feeling and how to react to how your body is feeling. So how do we prevent overreaching? Basically, the best way to sum up how to prevent it is, if your body's really sore, do not push the muscle any further. Listen to your body. And, don't go do a really hard leg workout and the next day do another really hard leg workout. It's kind of common sense, but if your body's sore and your muscles in that, say your lower body muscles are very sore, don't go train lower body super hard again. Unless your trainer says otherwise or your coach says otherwise, don't push yourself more than you need to. Now, let's say you ignore the signs of overreaching and you decide to train anyways. Well, that's when we start getting into overtraining, and that's whenever the mental, physical, and health related issues all start arising, and it's never a good thing, and we want to try and prevent that. So next, let's talk about actually overtraining. All right, so basically overtraining is whenever your body needs to recover and you're not allowing your body to recover. And obviously this can cause problems, because if your muscles need to recover and you're not letting your muscles recover, then it continue to break down the muscle and you're going to see decrease in performance. You could get injured, and you could also see you not be able to reach your goals because you're not letting your body recover. Recovery is a very important aspect to training that everyone needs to understand. And I wasn't going to talk about, overtraining outside the weight room, but I would figure I should bring this up. People who are more stress tolerant, that's something that you got to look at whenever if you're a trainer, is stress tolerance, because that can actually affect how fast someone can overtrain themselves. Because if you have stresses from work, from school, and all those things, and they really affect you and they really put a lot of stress on you, and you try and go to the weight room and put more stress on top of that, it can cause you to overtrain way quicker than someone who, say, is more stress tolerant and doesn't have as much stress from their work, school, and all those things. And they can actually put more stress on their body and recover because of those things. But yeah, that's my little tangent on, outside stresses from the weight room. But that's all I'm going to be talking about today, I promise. All right, so real quick, we're going to be talking about some of the symptoms of overtraining, and we're talking about symptoms in the weight room. So when you're overtrained, you're going to have a lot harder time recovering, obviously, it's like what I explained earlier, and you're going to notice that you're going to be sore a lot longer. Also, you're going to see your performance in your workouts decrease. You might not be able to do the same amount of weight or the same amount of reps with a certain weight. It's because your body is telling you, hey, I need to recover, and it's not able to perform at its best. You can also see some things like mentally where you want to quit, you don't want to go to the gym. Your legs can be really, really heavy. Even whenever you're doing, say light squats, your legs feel really heavy. These are some things that you need to look out for. And if you feel those kind of things while you're training, you need to sit back and say, okay, let me think about this and see what my body is telling me. And then you can decide whether or not you want to continue workout or not. All right, so moving on to some symptoms outside the weight room you could be experiencing if you're overtrained. Obviously, you could feel fatigued all the time. You're going to feel depressed. It's actually mentally draining, which is kind of interesting because, it is an increase of stress, too much stress on your body. So you are going to feel a little bit anxious, depressed. you're gonna have a lack of quality of sleep. All those things are gonna be, affecting you outside the weight room that, no one wants to go through. So you gotta really make sure that if you're experiencing those things outside the weight room, you need to check on your body and say, okay, what is my body telling me? What change do I need to be made? Because it could be from the weight room, you don't know. So let's talk about some of the health-related symptoms you could be having from overtraining. And really this could be applied to anything with stress in general. But you could be, having a lack of appetite. You could be losing weight because you're not eating as much. You could be increasing the amount of times you get sick because when you have an increase of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, your immune system is actually affected. It's actually not as effective when you have a high amount of cortisol in your bloodstream. You can have an increased blood pressure and also an increased resting heart rate. And if you're a woman, you could be having some irregular menstrual cycles. But, that's some of the things that you could be experiencing health-wise that could be related to overtraining, some stress in your life. And mainly, your training in the weight room could be affecting these things as well. All right, so some of the ways that you can reverse overtraining is obviously to rest your body, decrease the intensity of your workouts or even stop them in general for a week or two if it's very severe. You can also make sure you're getting a lot better nutrition, make sure you're eating correctly so your body has an easier time recovering. All right, to sum up overtraining, basically to not overtrain, you've really got to make sure that you have a plan going in the weight room. If you have a program, stick to the program, because if you go in the weight room or the gym and you're trying to do a workout that's really, really intense all the time, you're eventually going to overtrain yourself. You need to have a plan. So I say, okay, if I do this today and I follow this plan, I will be here at the end of the plan. At the end of the program, you'll be at this point. It's a marathon, not a sprint, so make sure you guys are being patient and following you guys' workout plans. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you guys learned something new. I hope that helps some of you guys not overtrain as often. Now you guys know what you know now. This video was kind of fun for me to make because I got a tripod from Amazon and it is really cheap and I feel like it's gonna break soon. But hopefully it stays together for as long as I needed to. I'm a broke college kid. I can't afford, a nice one. So we gotta work with what we got. Make sure you guys also follow the Instagram. I'll see if it's in the bio for the YouTube channel. I can put it in the description as well. Make sure you guys check it out because we are posting some quotes on there every other day. So if you guys want to see all that on your feed whenever, say you're on break from work or you wake up or you're about to go to the gym, whatever, there comes some nice quotes on there for you guys to read, motivate you, all that stuff. As for our TikTok, it's kind of been getting the push away. It's been harder to make TikToks because we've been focusing more on the channel on YouTube right now. So I could start putting more content on TikTok if you guys really want me to. Just let me know and I can do that. So, but anyway, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. My name's Josh from NARC Club, and thank you guys so much for watching. Staying up and proud. All right, before we talk about overtraining, I want to just point out the elephant in the room, that overtraining is kind of a widely debated topic because overtraining really is just a balance of stresses, and a lot of stresses can come from outside the weight room that can affect the weight room. So really overtraining is just making sure that everything is in balance. You're not putting too much stress on yourself, and if you have too much stress on yourself going into the weight room, it's going to have a big effect on your training. So really today we're going to be talking about how the weight room stresses can affect your body. Just make sure you understand that. Make sure you have a solid work-life balance with your training in order to prevent overtraining that's outside the weight room, because that can definitely happen to you.